Welcome back to another episode of Hood 187. In today's video, we will be talking about the crimes of Isaiah Tryon. Isaiah Glendale Tryon grew up in a tough environment in Oklahoma City, dealing with poverty, neglect, and family problems, challenges many in the area face in Oklahoma. At some point, he became involved with the Outlaw 30 Bloods. The Outlaw 30 Bloods are connected to the Rollin 20 Outlaw Bloods, a gang that started in South Los Angeles, California. The Rollin 20's Outlaw Bloods, also known as the Eastside Rollin 20's Outlaw Bloods, are an African-American street gang located on the east side of South Los Angeles. They are believed to be a subset of the Rollin 20 neighborhood Bloods, located on the west side of South Los Angeles. Although the Rollin 20's Outlaw Bloods and Rollin 20's neighborhood Bloods are two different gangs, they are often confused with each other due to their similar names. In the early 1990s, the Outlaw 20s came to Oklahoma City. They first settled in the North Highlands area. Today, they are mostly found around Hefner Road, near the Chisholm Creek area. Later on, the Outlaws grew bigger and spread to other cities in Oklahoma, like Lawton and Duncan. They also expanded into a few places in Arkansas. The Oklahoma Gang Investigators Association reports that this group remains active and has been linked to a range of criminal activities, including homicides, firearm offenses, and drug trafficking. Since 2006, Isaiah has been one of the Outlaw 30's top hats. In 2009, Isaiah was charged with shooting at several people in a hotel parking lot after getting into an argument with others. Isaiah was reported to have fled on foot after the incident, pointing a gun at an officer who was not in uniform at the time. He then made his way to his mother's house, where, upon the arrival of law enforcement, he resisted arrest and fought with officers. During the struggle, officers were forced to use a taser to take him down. The uniformed officer who was present at the shooting later testified against Isaiah in court. According to law enforcement, Isaiah had been drinking before the incident and is known to have a quick temper. Many people argue that Isaiah got off too easy because he could have hurt a lot of people during the shooting. However, Isaiah only received a 10-year suspended sentence for each charge related to the shooting and was placed on probation. This meant he didn't have to serve time right away, but if he messed up again, he could be forced to serve the full sentence. But he wouldn't take this sentence serious and quickly went back to being a blood gang member on the streets. At some point, Isaiah started seeing a woman named Tia Bloomer. Tia Bloomer was described by everyone as a kind and caring person who always did her best to take care of others. Tia and Isaiah was said to have a child together, and to many friends and family, they seemed like a happy couple. But Isaiah was hiding a dark secret. He would abuse Tia Bloomer often. Even small things would set him off, and it would always end with him beating her. Some say Isaiah's favorite way of abusing her was violently headbutting her, causing her head to bleed heavily from the impact. Isaiah was a troubled man who viewed violence as the solution to every problem. Isaiah never seemed to learn from his actions and got lucky every time when sentencing came around. And in 2011, Isaiah pled guilty to beating Tia and admitted that he would viciously abuse her in front of their child. On May 21st, Isaiah was charged with shooting with intent to kill, possession of a firearm, and assault with a dangerous weapon. These charges stem from an incident in which he assaulted Tia Bloomer with a weapon and fired a gun at her multiple times while she was holding their 2-month-old baby. Tia Bloomer was left terrified, trapped in a never-ending cycle of abuse, afraid to leave him. It was clear that he had no regard for the safety of others and was a serious threat to the public. Tia Bloomer knew that if she stayed with Isaiah, both her and her child would be in danger. So she packed her things and began staying with family and friends. She even texted Isaiah to let him know that their relationship was over. The final straw had come when he brutally attacked her, choking her almost to the point of death. She had planned to report him to the police for his actions. In the past, she had covered up many of his crimes, but this time, it was different. She was finally going to expose the monster Isaiah truly was and make sure he faced justice. But before she cut ties with him completely, she sent him one last message. "It's over because I'm telling the truth tomorrow. I'm tired of covering up your lies. Isaiah Tryon is the man who choked and nearly killed me on Saturday." Tia Bloomer didn't have a car, so she relied on bus transportation to get around. She had scheduled a meeting with Detective Jeffrey Paget the day before, which infuriated him. He knew that if the charges against him stuck, he'd be facing more than 10 years behind bars. Isaiah, aware of Bloomer's regular route patterns, figured out her schedule and planned to intercept her at the bus station before she could board. Isaiah would then grab a kitchen knife before heading to the bus station. His plan was to confront Tia about their breakup, expressing how her actions had left him feeling sad and depressed. So when Isaiah arrived at the bus station, his eyes scanned the crowd, searching for her. He wouldn't stop until he found Tia, and when he did, she was caught off guard. She panicked and would plead with him to leave her alone, her voice trembling as she begged him to go away. Screaming was heard, but the people nearby just watched the drama unfold, possibly being too shocked or scared to intervene. Isaiah quickly rushed toward her as she tried to run. He grabbed her tightly tightly, and before she could escape, he started stabbing her over and over. The knife struck her in the neck, head, back, and body, each hit more violent than the last. Several people at the bus station witnessed the brutal attack and later shared their accounts with law enforcement and news stations. They described the terrifying scene in detail, helping police understand the level of violence that unfolded right before their eyes.
There was a man and a woman sitting at the bench.
I heard a girl scream. I jumped to my feet.
He just kept stabbing her at least 5 times, if not 10.
And I seen her laying in blood on the floor.
Isaiah started to walk away slowly, leaving Tia bleeding on the ground. When police arrived, witnesses immediately pointed him out. Isaiah still had the knife in his hand, dripping with blood, and his clothes were covered in blood, making it obvious he was responsible for the stabbing. And this time, he was taken into custody without a fight. During questioning, Isaiah admitted that he had brought the knife from home with the intention of stabbing her if he saw her. He was then charged with first-degree murder, along with several other offenses, and his trial began in February 2015 in Oklahoma County District Court. While awaiting trial, Isaiah got into several fights with other gang members and inmates, with one of these altercations being caught on surveillance video showing Isaiah beating up Dartang and Cotton. Cotton, another murderer, had broken into Paula Martin's home in 2011, raping her and then killing her during or after the grape attack. Initially facing the death penalty, Cotton was able to secure a life sentence instead. But on February 27, 2015, the jury found Isaiah Tryon guilty of first-degree murder after deliberating for less than 15 minutes. A few days later, on March 5, 2015, the same jury recommended the death penalty. This made Isaiah scared, and he began fighting the charges against him. During Isaiah's trial, his defense team made several key arguments in an effort to spare him from receiving the death penalty. They worked really hard to paint a picture of a deeply troubled young man who had faced overwhelming challenges throughout his life. They said he grew up in an environment filled with substance abuse, violence, and neglect, which severely damaged his emotional and psychological development. One of their main arguments was that Isaiah suffered from serious mental health problems. A psychologist who evaluated him testified that Isaiah displayed symptoms of a split personality. According to the defense, these conditions affected his behavior and ability to understand the consequences of his actions. Another point raised by his attorneys was Isaiah's low IQ. They presented evidence showing that his intellectual functioning was significantly below average. His defense argued that this limitation made it harder for Isaiah to think clearly, make rational decisions, and control his impulses, especially during stressful situations. His attorneys argued that these experiences severely impacted Isaiah's mental and emotional development, ultimately shaping the person he became. They hoped the jury would consider these factors as reasons to show him mercy and sentence him to life in prison instead of death. But the judge and jury did not show mercy for Isaiah, with the judge giving him the death penalty on April 8, 2015. Isaiah pursued several appeals over the years, but on May 28, 2024, the U.S. Supreme Court declined to review his final appeal, leaving him with no further legal options. This decision made him eligible for execution. Isaiah Tryon is currently a dead man walking on death row at the Oklahoma State Penitentiary in McAlester, Oklahoma. The tragic death of Tia Bloomer is one that could have been prevented, but sadly it wasn't, resulting in the loss of her life. Thanks for watching another episode of Hood 187. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe and turn on post notifications. If you want to support the channel, join my $5 membership, or if you want me to promote your music, message me on Instagram at Hood187Reloaded.